let's continue posing our major actions for the push. So our next pose is going to lie on frame 20 because we're going to want to give the character enough time to come out of this pose and go into the next where he's moving in for the push. Okay, so we want to be conscious of our timing as we're doing our extremes. Okay, and from after 20, after from frame 20, we'll again go on a 10 frame basis until all of our poses are complete. And before even moving on, I do want to also mention the importance of having a good silhouette because that's going to allow the audience to read your poses. So here's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and hide our crate, okay, by turning off this layer, and we'll also hide our floor. So we just have our character. And one cool thing we could do to make sure we have a good silhouette is hit 7 on our keyboard. And notice what that does. That gives us a nice outline of our character. Okay? And here we have a pretty nice silhouette. We've got some nice negative space around the character here. Okay? And we can tell what type of pose he's in. Okay? So our silhouette should be bold and really emphasized so we can, again, have them clearly read to the audience what's happening in our scene. All right. So now that that's discussed, let's go back to shaded mode and by hitting 6 on our keyboard, and we'll bring back our crate and floor and start on our next pose where we have the character moving in. So let's bring back our control curves. And for this, we'll have him now shift his weight a little bit more to his right to straighten him out. Okay. And let's go to his hips, and we'll just zero him out for now. Okay, so once that's done, we do have his left foot coming forward there. So let's work on that. Bring his left foot forward and also his center of gravity. Bring that forward and then down some. And then his knees, notice his knees. We're going to want to bring his knee controls forward. Okay, we'll select that left knee, bring that forward. And as for the right foot, we're actually going to have that move back some. Okay, because what we're going to do is have the character basically step back and then move forward into the push. Okay, because we're going to need that extra pose in there. Remember, we may be doing a few passes for our extremes, and here's an example where we want to do basically add an extra pose rather than what we have on our storyboards. So on frame 20, let's first go ahead and bring the right foot back some. Okay. Bring it back and then bring in his heel some too. All right. And then for the left foot, we'll bring that a little bit more forward. Go to a center of gravity, rotate that down. So he's moving in, and then his back control. Let's go ahead and zero out everything so he's straightened up. And then with this still selected, we'll go to the rotate X. And notice how I'm just moving this individual channel here. Well, at times you'll see me doing that, and we want to get into the habit of doing that sometimes as well, because that's going to keep the graph editor organized by just animating what we need rather than having multiple channels and getting our F-curves less organized. So it's going to be much easier to manipulate our animation if we're animating just our individual channels at times, okay, if we need to. And we'll see more and more of that as we progress. Let's go ahead and select the chest control, and we'll zero that out as well. And then go to the rotate X and bring that a little bit more forward. All right. For his head, we'll go ahead and also zero that out and bring it up some in the X. Then we could bring his neck up too. All right, great. So it's looking pretty good. Now we could go ahead and start working on the arms, bringing those forward. So we'll select our arm control. Bring that forward. Okay, and for his elbow, let's bring that down. For his wrist, here's another example where we just want to use our individual channels. Okay, so we get some nice rotation when he's moving forward. Okay, so for the Y, we'll bring that up. Like that. So he's about ready to push the object, and then we'll go to the X and bring that in so it's tilted a little bit more into the crate. Since his arm's going forward, let's rotate his shoulders forward. And here we could just move all of our channels here. So we just bring the shoulders forward slightly, and then go back to the arm, move that forward and in a little bit more. Great. Then we could go to our left arm now. Start bringing that forward and a little bit offset from the right. We don't want it perfectly aligned with the right, so we get natural poses. Bring the elbow down. Okay, and then we can adjust our rotation here. So for the Z, let's move that so that the Y is pointed in more of a vertical type of position, like so. And then we'll go to the Y, and we'll bring up the hand. Okay, and then what we'll also do is go to our arm control and maybe bring that up and then over some, so it's ready to impact the crate. And then let's go to our wrist control and open up the fist some to get the fingers prepared to actually push. All right. I think we could even bring this hand a little bit more forward. For a shoulder, let's check that out. Okay, let's bring that forward. I'll do 2. Forward and down some. And all right, so everything's looking pretty good now. We'll go ahead and double check our pose. And let's see, I think we're going to adjust this left hand some more. Bring that down and then go to the left elbow and bring that down too. All right, that's looking better. More like he's ready for the push. Okay, so with these things done, we can hide our curves again and check out our pose and also the silhouette of our pose. Okay, so that's looking pretty good here. All right. Well, with these things done, that finishes off this lesson. In the next lesson, we're going to work on the pose prior to coming in to this pose on frame 20.